Hi, welcome to Cranbourne Golf Club. My name's Mark All. I'm a golf professional here. We're going to do our first part of myths in bunkers. There's a few myths in bunkers and we're going to cover the first one today, which is try and hit 2 inches behind the ball. Now, it's a myth because it doesn't actually work. Where does it come from is golf pros play in perfect conditions on a US tour all the time. They always play in the same amount of sand. They always take the perfect dollar bill divot. So they always get it about so long and therefore it's about 2 inches. So 2 inches is a certain amount of sand. But what happens in the real world is we don't play in perfect conditions all the time. Some bunkers have no sand, some bunkers have a lot of sand, some have a nice amount. So I'm going to explain what happens in the real world to us. Now, from a swing point of view, let's just assume I'm going to do the same golf swing every time. So I'll do my nice comfortable swing. The one that makes the ball go about 20 metres, give or take. So here we've got beautifully raked bunker. We don't see those too many times, particularly on a Wednesday, Thursday or a Saturday. Unfortunately, members don't tend to rake their bunkers so well, but we get to a bunker here which has just the perfect amount of sand in it. So it's just a nice, it hasn't got too much, hasn't got too little. So if I just do my standard swing, back and through, I'm going to take a divot that looks so long. Now, if I take this golf ball, it doesn't change size. So if I stick the ball in the middle of that divot, give or take it's probably 2 to 3 inches between where the ball is and where the divot starts. That's where 2 inches comes from. So if you play in the perfect amount of sand every single time, like what golf pros do, that's what their divot looks like. Now, unfortunately, we play in the real world where their bunkers aren't like that all the time. So what happens if we kick all the sand away? Sorry, Barry. But if we kick all the sand away, now I've got no sand there. So if I do the same swing, what then happens is the divot goes from this sort of length to this length. And we've all seen that bunker shot where you've got no sand and you take a really small divot. So essentially, now my divot is smaller. So the divot's gone from this sort of length to this length because of the less sand there. Now, what does that then mean? Effectively, that ball has to be still in the middle of that divot. So now I have less sand slowing the club head down. So less sand slowing the club head down means the ball will travel further. Okay, if I kick all this sand back over, and I get a bunker that looks like that with a lot of sand in it, if I do the same swing, I'm now going to take a divot that's much longer. So that one is actually longer than my foot. So from a swing point of view, now the golf club is in the sand for significantly longer. So, does the ball change size? The answer is no. If I've got 3 different lengths divots, effectively depending on how much sand is there, then I'm going to need 3 different amounts of sand or swing to get the ball to go the same distance. So, out of this much sand, to get the ball to travel 20 metres, I'm going to need my full swing. Okay? So to get the ball to travel 20 metres out of that much sand, I'm going to need to have a big full swing. If, however, I have that one, that bunker shot, I better have something that looks like a 10 or 15 metre swing, because that ball's just going to go. There's nothing to slow it down. So from a swing point of view, this is why it's only a very, very basic rule of double the distance. If you've got a nice amount of sand, it's about double the distance. If you have no sand there, you have to have nearly the same amount of swing to hit the ball 15, 20 metres. It's a really small swing. The dilemma with that, you can't clear the high wall in front of you. So you may have to play sideways because you can't chip the ball over the high wall. The other one though is if you get a lot of sand, you're going to need to have a really big swing. So as I said, it's a very basic rule in terms of understanding the amount of swing, but this, more or less sand, you have to determine before you hit the bunker shot. You've got to take a guess at it because you're not allowed to have a practice swing. So from a bunker shot point of view, 2 inches is a generalisation. It depends on how much sand is there. If you've got no sand, you're going to take a really small divot. If you've got a lot of sand, you're going to take a really big divot. If you've got no sand, have a really small swing. Okay, so the rule is less sand, less swing. If there's more sand, you have to have more swing. to effectively go the same distance. And that's the first myth in terms of understanding bunker play, is don't worry about trying to hit 2 inches behind the ball.